Hi, a very, very good day, of course, from wherever you're watching us from. How's your day been? How's the week been? A lot has been happening in all the spaces, politically, socially, economically, and of course, this is the Open Star TV, the home of entertainment. We always say this is where talent meets opportunities. So from wherever you're watching us from, we always say thank you, and of course get into our social media places, platforms I mean, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, tuko kila mahali, we found everywhere. Now very fast things first. Gaucho ameona moto hey week, that nigga has been cooked like it's not his business. Now I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, the governor of Nairobi actually announced a new board chair of Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital, and Gaucho has been the controversial names of all names mentioned. Of course, there was also another lady, I've forgotten the name, but the questions are being asked by Kenyans who should be appointed where. As it's been our norm in such corporate spaces, we expect experts to be taking up those roles. But Gaucho, apparently a class 6 dropout, is now one of the board members. Mambo ilichemka X. I've seen memes of the guy, and Kenyans, you're not good people at all. Mwezi cook mwenzenu hivyo. That was savage. But my sincere take, I'd love to borrow a leaf from appointment of school boards, because I always see kuna kuanga a representative from the community as well, because I feel they know better the challenges facing people, especially the community as a whole, so they'd have a better picture of what is happening, so that in the board they'd have a representation of you know, the immediate problem. All right, so I feel like much, because we've had, anyway, somebody was trying to argue that we've had experts now, Jai's idea anywhere. So there's need to have at least an immediate space, an immediate person who would, you know, talk about the real issues on the ground, all right? Because I'm pretty sure an expert would not know what is happening in Dandora or elsewhere, maybe in, you know, Mukuru kwa Ruben, but there's somebody who has information, you know, around mwenye anajua what ground says. So Gaucho pia alijitetea. He was on one of the media stations, that is Nation, NTV, and he said, yeah, let's give him time, and I think we should give him a benefit of doubt to one how else he's going to change tables. So I think from my side, I just wish him well. I really hope he's going to give people a reason to not talk ill about such appointments the next time. Memes kama Kijana was just funny, especially on X. X is not a good space at all, but all the same, I wish him well. I really hope he gives a different perception of what people were talking about kama jana. So Gaucho, from wherever you're watching us from Open Star TV, we wish you well. Tunataka uende ufanye kazi, prove those people wrong, so that we are all on the same page. Now, on to other news. We've had a guy who actually planted over 24,000 trees, and people are trying to make arguments on who should really be awarded, because the other time we remember Trufena Mudhoni, just by hugging a tree for some couple of hours, she was given the state honors. She had a privilege to go to State House. She had a chit chat with the president, but now there's this guy who planted over 24,000 trees, I think in 48 hours. So there was a debate on who should really be given a sense of honor. And there was also the debate of, is it about gender versatility or something, because this was now a gentleman, a guy. So there was a debate on ladies are favored more than men. But I think in all reasons we need to give him his flowers, because at the end of the day, they have the same goals. And planting 24,000 trees, that's much better than just hugging a tree, because that's real conservancy. We do not know the aim of Trufena then really well, but for this is an impact immediately. It's not like it's a campaign, but it's something that is on. So I was really amazed by the actions of that gentleman, and if all goes well, Anafa apewe what really he deserves. Apewe the state commendations, apewe pia an ambassadorial role, maybe to talk about conservancy like Wangari Maathai, Nobel Prize, and just an honor, right, for what he does. As well, Sifuna, the senator for Nairobi, really begged about the Nicocad initiative guy being given an award, because I'm trying to imagine the cost he saved IEBC that would be used to run campaigns on voter registration and mobilization. As a one-man army, I feel like he's really done a lot, together with Willie Oyeba and a few people who are also activists for the same. So Sifuna was just trying to make a point that he deserves a state commendation, maybe an HSE. His argument was, kama mtu alienda mahali akapanga line na Githeri and was given an HSC, how about somebody who has really saved the state a lot of money? Because I'm pretty sure if it weren't for the intervention of Alan Ademba and his cohorts and other comrades, probably we wouldn't be there. So I think it's such steps that the government should take to ensure that all goes well for such characters, so that we are motivated, especially as youths, and make the right choices in terms of mobilization, in terms of stuff. Talking about voter registration, I think it's 5 days to go. I hope from wherever you're watching me from, Mukokadi, take that card. We must make the very right of decisions, because at the end of the day, hata kama tunasema our voice matters, all right? The other time, there are very small margins of differences on number one and number two. So we can make the same differences if we have the voter registration, right? So go to your nearest polling station or voter registration desks, pick those cards. There's this lady from Rongai, I don't know her name, I saw her on X. She's doing an amazing job on voter registration. She's always up on time. At times they miss lunch, at times they are under the weather, but they have to keep pushing, from whatever aspect. So, chukua kadi, let us have a great youth-owned enterprises, all right? So I'm very proud of such people, and I hope they continue with the same spirits from either sides. Now, this is the Open Star TV. If you have any adverts, throw them to us. We'll put up our number down there where you can always talk to us, give us your feedbacks, throw your comments down there. Let us look for the best way to serve you so that mambo ikuwe sawa. Now, the reports today are actually talking about the suspension of the FKF president, that is Hussein. There were allegations of corruptions. Actually, allegedly 42 million shillings were lost, and he stepped down together with the CEO. Mariga is now acting in the acting capacity as the current president. I'm happy the fight for graft is really on. If such actions are taken, we really hope for accountability, because in the past we've really seen people just stepping down and not being prosecuted in the courts of law. Consequently, tumeona a dossier yesterday Nation's newspaper, where apparently President Ruto has spent a whopping 89 billion in 3 years. That is money that was spent by President Uhuru Kenyatta in 10 good years. Now, just imagine what Ruto has spent in 3 years. That is equivalent to what Uhuru spent in 10 years. And you see, that begs the question, did we really make the right choices? Because on calculations, somebody was trying to say that if a constituency was to be given 170 million, this constituency would receive that amount for the next 50 or 70 something years. You can imagine. You can seriously imagine. Now, that is money enough to pay for all students, that is students who are in day school secondary, fee for an entire year. 89 whooping billion. Now, I think questions arise that what are these money done with? What do you do with the 89 billion in 3 years? But we've seen the pattern dishing out of money aimlessly. You know, we've seen the biggest number of people in State House than numbers we have seen before, all right? Because State House nowadays belongs to every person, every single person. And you see it has raised the question of legitimacy as a sacred house, because that is the house on the hill. Literally, that is the most sacred house in Kenya as things stand. So that means there are issues when it comes to our expenditure, especially on the executive part, and there has to be austerity measures. You see that money equates to money spent with the president, deputy president, and the office of the prime cabinet secretary, which allegedly is unconstitutional. So if we are creating up positions to actually waste taxpayers' money, then that's something to think about. So a very request, an open letter to President William Ruto that Kenyans voted you in the very belief that we would have the best of administrations in terms of austerity measures, in terms of service delivery, and in terms of, you know, accountability. But we are seeing patterns of mismanagement of taxpayers' money. We are seeing, you know, issues of leaders not being accountable as they promised their manifestos. So therefore, Mr. President, cut us the crap. Let us do that which we promised the people. Because how does this affect the Mama Mboga and the border riders? The very people whom you actually ran campaigns on and told they'll have the best of things. And you see, I was watching Obina's interview with the majority leader, that is Honorable Kimani Chungwa, and I was perturbed by the fact that he admitted that at one point the then deputy president, regarding Gachagua, dished out a whopping 5 million in form of bribe. Now I know he didn't want to give us very detailed information, but a bribe is bribe. Immediately he had mentioned such things, the ESCC was supposed to come, you know, and take him for some talk, right? But these are things our leaders are literally admitting, but no action is taken. And they're the very, very people who come to us that they want to hold leaders accountable. How do we even start trusting them from whatever thing? So we must really start being accountable us as leaders, or rather for our leaders. They have to be accountable for the very systems that they've created, right? So I really felt bad about such admissions, especially from a leader of such a stature, because he's the majority leader. That means he has the absolute powers to run prosecutions, to call things into order, right? The buck stops at him up to some point. So, but ni sawa, wacha viongozi wafanye vile wanataka. But the buck stops with us as wananchi, because it's us who vote these people in. These are elective positions, right? Consequently, even the leaders who are subjected to resignation then, as part of the scheme to investigate whoever alipotenda pesa wa Kenya on the oil scandal, hatujaona any prosecutions. We haven't seen any actions being taken. Fine, they step down, and then what? It just doesn't stop at stepping down. Maze kuiba 500 million. 500 million is a half KICC in height. Half KICC in height, right? A billion is a whole KICC in height. Now, if you take half KICC in height and nobody even questions, to assume those have been the patterns, and that is what we're used to. I think one thing that makes our leaders very arrogant is the fact that we have normalized their actions, and they feel like there's nothing we can do about their actions, and that is why the youths wameamua that we are not going to let things pass as they are. We must take accountability. We must choose in the right leaders from all aspects. Yes, so tunafaa sisi kama leaders, we make sure that everything comes in order. Now there is there are questions that arise on yesterday's lakini things are very funny. Yesterday I was seeing Museveni's sentiments, anasema if you don't have fuel, si ukai nyumbani. I mean, how does a president take that? And somebody was trying to say, no wonder Uganda is the way it is. Because how do you even say that? I mean, fuel is everything. If the price of fuel rises, high cost of living will automatically come in the picture. Fuel drives the economy in wholesome ways. Because kama fuel imepanda, one, the fare itapanda. And that is the very first thing everywhere. But if a whole president will stand to tell you that kama una kama una fare, si ukai nyumbani. I mean, where do they even expect us to get the revenues that they collect if we don't move? Alright? So, it's just funny. On the same note, there are plans to have refineries set up in Tanzania, refineries that are actually going to help Kenya and Uganda. So the question is, why can't we have such a refinery in Kenya? Alright? I mean, we should have the direct benefit as a country. Why would you take our refinery that would help our country to another country? Of what benefit is it even out there? Anyway, ni sawa tu. But we must really take account to some of the things we do. Now on issues entertainment now. Super proud of our boy BN. He's really flying our colors high out there. Naona Repetete is over 20 million views in, I think it's clocking a month now. And I think he has the biggest record. I don't think kuna msanii Kenya shai hit 20 million views in a month. I don't think so. If there are, I stand to be corrected. But I don't really think there is, as far as whatever I know is or rather exists. So a big shout out to BN. I saw he did an acoustic as well, and yeah, it's some very, very beautiful vibes. To support your kijana sana, he's our flag bearer, especially on our music and you know, all that stuff. Onto the news as well, entertainment. Niliona P Square wa is it Paul or who alimove birthday yake from November, I don't know when to when. Super question, mbona move birthday yako? But speculations are ataki kushare birthday na his other twin. It doesn't make sense. I mean, hata kama msikilizaji, why would you move your birthday to the next? Why would you do that from whatever aspect? So it was so weird and funny, and yeah, I hope they find an amicable way to sort their problems and issues. Also meona hiyo beef imekuwa ya Nadia na Aroboy. Apparently Nadia has an issue with the side chick song. I think here alichukua literally, but I feel she started juu yeye ndio wa kwanza song alifanya ilikuwa inaitwa X Harudiwi, and that song I feel Aroboy didn't take it well. So I feel Aroboy alikuwa anatafuta tu a way ya kulipisha, and I feel that banter was so well orchestrated because hakulipisha literally, yeye pia alipisha na song, but you never know. Was a new we can't trust you people. Maybe it's a clout and stuff. It's a way to promote either of the songs or one of the songs, so we can't trust you people. But my take is whichever way you decide to push your craft, at the end of the day, it's views. We want views translate to money. Yeah, visibility is all about cash. If your visibility gives you the cash, why not push it to whatever craft you are? You all want an explanation of your actions. Consequently, entertainment, mambo ya Sele na Njugush imekuwa ngori sana. We've seen a lot of online debate on really who is right, who is wrong. But my take is, in Kenya, until you establish things, usiwai rush to make statements. Mimi, I'll be very sure about actions as Helen and Njugush until their show is done, the TTNT, right? After that, now you can make decisions that how to channel. You never know. Maybe it's a way to push your show, and I highly feel so, because I'm viewing it from this perspective. Sahi show sasa imebaki ni kama ni Njugush, alright? Nani ameachwa? Ni Njugush. Now people would want to now buy tickets, alright? People would want to attend this event, and the hype, or rather the hype would rather be around this event to promote. Alright? So after this event, now ndio utaona walirudiana and stuff mpaka useme kai. So this has been what has been happening. So maybe my take on Sele and Njugush story, you can talk about it until the TTNT is done. After that, we'll be sure waliachana. Also, there have been reports that Sele thought all the things that built together were under their name, but he came to learn all those things were written under Mama Njugush's name. And yeah, what wanaisha Njugush sharp boy. Niliona aliyeka kwa mimflani na Hakim. Remember the football player called Hakim? You remember then when she had issues with the girlfriend realized alikuwa ameandika all his wealth under the mother's name. So what wanaisha Njugush sharp boy, because at the end of the day, when Sele will demand probably part of his wealth, atamwambia mimi all these things were written under my mom's name. You need a very good scheme, by the way. Men, I hope you're learning something from such scenarios. Wasichana are people not to be trusted. Girls are not trusted. Usiwahi trust huyo msichana. Mpende tu ni sawa, but when it comes to trust and stuff, don't trust them. So I really hope, if it's indeed it's true, I really hope they find a way of solving their issues. Plus, I would want to hear both sides of the story. I really can't make statements, especially on one side. So unless you hear both sides, and that is why it is a scheme. Mbona tunasikia side story ya Njuguna na tusikie side story ya Sele, right? Akili. Plus Sele pia has a podcast, right? So you never know. It's maybe a way to push her numbers. Akisha hit up whatever she wants. So Kenya's entertainment is always cloud chasing, is always looking for visibility and all that crap. So kwa hizo story mimi siwezi zungumzia hadi kwa sasa. Watu Arsenal mko fiti? Mazee zenu. Hivyo ndio maisha inakuanga. Lakini ni funny, you cannot be on top of the table for 261 days. Alafu hapana, no. Mazee, I feel your pain. Kuna kuwa na Arsenal enthusiast anaitwa Useful Idioti. Bro, he's a man. That guy has been like wakati hivi akitembea out of joy and stuff, and then boom, sahi Masagara anasikia fiti. But this Useful Idioti was promised by president he would be taken to one of the matches to watch with Arsenal, for Arsenal. So misa sahi sioni haja Masagara ndiye apelekwe, because cup itakuja Manchester. It doesn't matter which Manchester, bora iko Manchester. But Arsenal fans, man, don't lose hope. It's not the end of life. That is how football is. Plus, when was the last time you had a cup? Ingekuwa mlipata last year na this year tena mnaifight, inge make sense. Sasa mjaipata since 1980 what. Mezoea maisha. Mungu anakutempt na what you can manage. Ukiona hawapei cup, inamaanisha mwezi manage your cup. So strong. Take heart. And mwambia Teta re-strategize and all will do well. So Manchester City fans, big up, man. We're super proud of you. Cup inakuja Manchester, but mjue next season cup inakuja Manchester United. Hiyo mjue, carrick ball. Super proud of Man City and of course Manchester United. At least now there's a time Manu alikaa for almost 20 something days bila kucheza because we only play one league, Premier League. Yeah, so Manu, I'm very happy mnaenda kucheza Champions League this next season sasa. And we are super proud of you. Lakini sasa msituangushe. Make sure you grab either of the cups, right? So any other news on football? Omanyala, congratulations. Naona ulishinda. What was that? It was some run in Ethiopia in under 10 seconds, 100 meters in under 10 seconds. Tena leo ameshinda another in Nyayo under 10 seconds. Great work. Come back to yourself. Kuna time ulipotea kidogo. Kama ni ile nyumba ulikuwa unajenga ya 50 million. So I hope now you back to yourself. Yeah, I hope everything is going on well. Meanwhile, this is the Open Star TV. Man, we do every type of media stuff. We also have the Hillstar Empire. If you want to be recorded some good music, kuja tuongee. Hatuwezi kosana. Plus, if you also want some good videography, we have a super amazing videographer. Super amazing videographer. Amta kosana kwa pay. You'll definitely get there. Of course, big thanks to everyone else who's been on this program. My super director, Steph Marsh, asante sana for being here. My videographer, leo mtu wako behind the cameras anaitwa Rickstar. My super guy. Tukupiana producer M1. Howdy my guys, man. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for making this program a big success. I really hope the next time we'll have some super good time. Now we'll be having soundstage on every Wednesday and of course every Friday. I hope you always join us and have some good fun. If you want to be interviewed, just hit us up. We'll put our numbers down there and ensure everything runs as it is possible. Now I beg to sign out. Asante sana for watching. I hope now you've known what has been running over the week. I hope to see you next Wednesday with more news. And of course next Friday tutakuwa na msanii. We'll have an artist tusikie mambo yake, tusikie kazi yake. You'll be motivated. If you want to be hosted as well, just hit us up. Our numbers are down there. We'll ensure everything runs as it is. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I've been your super host, Bravo Keys. I sign out.
Welcome to Open Star TV, where talent meets opportunity.